Hello everybody and welcome to the Overwatch League. We're here for the first set of matches of the weekend. Of course, we've got the Asian games that are coming up. A couple more teams in the Asian region, so we've got a lot to look forward to. But for now, you're stuck with myself, Brennan Hook, and Joshua Wilkinson. We're going to be bringing you the action for game number 1, which is going to be Seoul Dynasty versus the Hangzhou Spark.
And I know we say this every single time, Brent, but I really do feel like this is going to be an incredible match.
Sure.
And I think that almost all of the games that are happening in the Asian region now are going to be bananas good, especially because we haven't seen the Seoul Dynasty play since week 8. So now going up against the Hangzhou Spark today, this is a bit of a taster. They're not taking on the best team in the region yet. That's tomorrow when they play against the Shanghai Dragons. But today, I think we get a bit of a tester for really, are the Seoul Dynasty the real deal?
Well, let's take a look at the Seoul starting lineups then to actually see what players they're running. And like you said, Josh, these are a bunch of guys that we haven't seen for about 4 weeks now, actually. It's been a while since we've seen them last play. When we last saw them, they were on the west coast of the United States of America, and they played against both of the Los Angeles teams and won in quite a dominant fashion.
Dominated them. Absolutely dominated them. And what we thought then was that then playing the Orisa Sigma meta with Gesture and Marvel was part of the reason why they looked like such an absolute force. Now, Orisa isn't available this week, but Gesture and Marvel are still in that starting lineup. So that makes me think that there's something weird going on here. We're expecting teams to play the Reinhardt. That would normally be Marvel. Gesture doesn't play off-tank. There's something fishy going on here.
Yeah, it is definitely interesting, and especially because I think, at least I assumed that we would be returning back to sort of the Reinhardt D.Va compositions, that sort of thing, but to see both of those players backing the starting roster, it screams a little bit of tomfoolery.
Maybe some Ryan Sigma, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, could definitely
This is our first look at that hero pool anyway.
Absolutely. Now let's take a look on the other side of it, the Hangzhou Spark starting lineup. These guys obviously haven't been having the best of times recently. Not going to point any fingers at any particular players in the team, but you'll notice that there are some changes in this roster, namely Bazzi no longer starting for the team.
Yes, it is a slightly different meta though as well. And so Bazzi was playing a bit of the Sombra last week, a little bit of the Mei. Adora normally just their full-time Mei player, so I would expect him to be playing a lot of that. Rhea being in is interesting as well, because we had a little period of time where Sashin was playing. The most recent game that the Hangzhou Spark played, Rhea came back into the lineup. Unfortunately, 2 losses is what the Hangzhou Spark are coming off of last week, but they are still up there, I think. They play competitive games against the Guangzhou Charge, and apart from the Shanghai Dragons, they look to be fairly even with the other teams in the Asian region. So I do genuinely think that this is going to be a fairly high-level game of Overwatch that we're about to witness.
Well, we're going to be getting into the game soon enough, but before that, we are going to be taking a look at the map set that we're going to be playing on today, at least in terms of the maps. The first one going to be, of course, a classic Busan. Do you think any of these players on either team are actually from Busan, Josh?
They probably are, actually. You know what? There's a little voice in the back of my head that says the Gesture's from Busan, but that might be totally incorrect. I don't know. They probably are, though. It's a very large city in South Korea.
Yeah. Something was also telling me, there's not that there's someone in my ear telling me right now, but I don't know, some weird piece of information that's just stored there that maybe Gesture actually might be from Busan. But
it might have just been that he played with GC Busan. I don't know. I can't really remember.
I mean, he did play with GC Busan, so yeah. I'm not too sure. But the map set itself, obviously Busan's going to be the first map that these guys are playing on. I don't have the map set in front of me because I need to pull it up on my phone, Josh. But
it's Volskaya and then Dorado. Those are the maps that we're absolutely destined to play on today. And then Hollywood and then the rest of the control maps if we actually end up getting there. I hope that this isn't a 3-0 game. I think there's potential for it. I think some people are expecting it to be a 3-0 game in favor of the Seoul Dynasty, who are up there with the Shanghai Dragons and with the Philadelphia Fusion and the San Francisco Shock as teams that people are saying are the best in the world right now. But the thing is, we've only really seen 2 matches from the Seoul Dynasty in 1 meta. So this here today is a demonstration of how good Seoul Dynasty are going to be on a range of different metas. How well does this tank line perform when they're not just able to play the comfort picks of Orisa and Sigma?
Yeah. Interesting little compositions that are being teased here. Obviously, Widowmaker back in the pool. able to be played. And yeah, Seoul are kind of doing what we thought they might be doing, actually, if they're running Gesture and Marvel at the same time, and that's going to be running the Rhine Sigma. I do find that quite interesting. D.Va, very powerful hero over the course of the entirety of the history of Overwatch as a game, so it's always a little bit weird to see it not being played, but Godsby on the Widowmaker takes a quick little shot to the cranium, has to back off temporarily, and Adora's going to be pumping in the damage as well on the fire, straight from above, but it's Fitz who's going to be claiming the first blood. Bebe goes down, taking away a lot of the heals now from the Hangzhou Spark. They don't have that Ana anymore, but the Resurrect does come through. IDK gets it off. Fitz still getting away with a little bit of murder off on the sides. Prophet as well, hitting an Icicle straight across the map onto Adora. Could be anyone's game still. The Ice Wall going to be blocking a lot of shots from Godsby, but it looks like Seoul have the advantage for now.
Yeah, with that kind of rush style is what we're calling it, where you group up and you're playing as a team, as 6 players. Whereas the Hangzhou Spark have opted for a totally different strategy. They're going to play the counter composition, trying to spread them across angles. Godsby taking one flank, the Pharah harassing from above, and the 2 tanks just trying to pull and peel people apart. So a lot of pressure on Fitz to be able to hit those shots on Adora and stay alive. Avoid the sightlines from Godsby.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Widowmaker on this particular section of Busan. We'll see the shots though from Adora as they come in. Nice Bionade, connects onto 2. Gesture and Marvel gonna get chunked down. They have to back off for heals now and play with the rest of their team. But still, Seoul are in control of the point for the time being. And Godsby finally gets the kill onto Fitz. Claiming that one, opens it up for his team to really get a lot of work done. And there you go, Adora of the Rockets into the back line. Guangzhou just really trying to seal the deal by leaping into the fray. Does just that. Only a few remnants of Seoul left remaining. Marvel most likely going to get demeched here, despite the fact that he wanted to run his wee little legs. He doesn't really have legs. He's in a mech, I guess. Boosters. Run his wee little boosters away. I don't know.
Sure. I think he still has legs. I think the D.Va mech still has legs.
Still have legs, Josh, but he was flying through the air, so I don't know.
Well, okay, I suppose so. The Seoul Dynasty are going to be loaded up with ultimates here, but it's going to be slightly difficult for them to be able to take space against the Pharah, so that's why Marvel's moved over to the D.Va as well. Ooh. Started out on the Sigma. Nice boost from Prophet.
Oh my
what
goodness,
a wall.
The wall boost into the Deadeye, securing that kill for them. It's opened things up, but Fitz will go down to Guangzhou regardless. The Resurrect onto Adora means that Hangzhou are still in this fight, and they have...
Look at that Bionade.
The barrage, huge Bionade. Toby and Badosin getting ridiculously chunked down, unable to be healed back up. Hangzhou Spark just opened up off the back of some pretty sick plays from actually the support line of Hangzhou there.
But what's important to note here, Bren, is that the Seoul Dynasty's composition is so good at being able to get on that point and just dominate it. So even though that they ended up losing that fight, they still started ticking up progress themselves, because the Hangzhou's composition can't really contest the point. The Pharah Mercy aren't going to do that, the Widowmaker isn't going to do that, and the tanks would just get shredded. So for Hangzhou, they need the kills. Seoul Dynasty can play the point, but they're making changes of their own, going over to the Wrecking Ball, who is now asleep, and Prophet on the Sombra.
Yeah, this is interesting. Prophet going to be just teasing them on the point a little bit, just spraying, trying to get a capture percentage, pulling them back, but Fitz gets the better of Godsby. No more Widowmaker to worry about. The stun, somehow Adora gets flashbanged out of his animation there, couldn't get the barrage off, and Fitz still hitting shots. Great clutch plays from him, finally brings down Adora, to be able to pepper down as well Rhea, and Seoul back in control of the point. Adora, unfortunately, whether it was a mistake on his own part or maybe Rhea just wasn't there to peel for him, but a bit of a mistake there, getting caught out of position.
I love this swap from the Seoul Dynasty, moving Prophet over to the Sombra. The Sombra is so good at being able to get hacks on Guangzhou and Rhea, and without those tanks, the Hangzhou Spark's previous composition, utterly useless. So now you see Hangzhou mirroring somewhat.
Gesture nano boosted, he leaped in, but immediately slept up by Bebe. Bebe's been having a great game so far for Hangzhou, but Seoul Dynasty are still pushing them straight back into the spawn. They're just desperate trying to touch the point, but they won't be able to do it. And Seoul Dynasty going to be taking round number 1, map number 1 of this series.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bren, if these compositions are anything to extrapolate from, it seems like we've got quite a dynamic meta going on. I was slightly concerned, I'm not going to lie to you, that we would be going back to the very strict meta of Mei, McCree, Reinhardt, or with a D.Va or a Sigma.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's some counterplay available. Maybe not on this map, because Pharah is not really playable because you're inside a small enclosed space, but on other maps, we could definitely see both teams experimenting and counter-comping each other, which is really one of the most wonderful things to see in Overwatch, as the two teams figure out exactly how to outplay each other.
Yeah, on the fly, the ability to change your heroes just mid-game. It's one of the things that makes Overwatch quite special and a little bit different to a lot of other games as well. But we'll see both teams clashing now. The May is going to be played here.
Nice
of course,
wall.
the Mega Base, look at that wall, but instantly brought down. You can see it just bursted through and are able to save Guxui's life. Now Rhea just putting in a bit of spam damage, using those hyperspheres, seeing if he can get a kill or two. The accretion off onto the flank, but blocked once more by Gesture, but it's Godspeed is the one who claims the first kill. Profit going down means that Seoul Dynasty are not going to be having anything to really work with. No ice walls. Counter charge as well. Guxui just swinging through his enemies. He's able to build up an absolutely huge amount of his Earth Shatter. And it looks like Hangzhou Spark will be gaining control of this point pretty early on.
Really nice pick onto Profit, and Godspeed finds another one onto Profit and
bro.
follows up again.
Look at this
guy. He is the defining player for the Hangzhou Spark. I know that a lot of people like to talk about Guxui and how flashy IDK is, but Godspeed is the primary damage dealer for this team, and if he's having a good day, the Spark look like a reinvigorated roster. He really is the backbone of how much damage they're able to pump out.
Yeah, I think they get turned from a great team into a truly excellent one. He's playing up to his prime form. I mean, look at him, just putting in the spam damage, trying to take these off angles, seeing if he can get that early damage in, and it looks like Hangzhou want to try and take the advantage. Early Ice Wall from Profit is going to be trying to push them apart. Guxui gets the nano boost, lays down the shatter. 2 down in the backline. The swing is the fadeaway. He collects one kill.
Counter shatter.
Seoul Dynasty just roll over the backline whilst all that was happening. It was a flashy play by Guxui, but flashy plays sometimes don't win the day.
I think that was a boop as well from Toby. Managed to get Guxui off the high ground, or for some reason Guxui decided to move his way over towards the back, and Gesture, as soon as the enemy Reinhardt wasn't there, landed a 3-man shatter onto both DPS and IDK, and with the help of his team managed to take them down. Great work from Gesture, because we weren't really sure about his Reinhardt last year. He looks to be fairly solid on it here today.
Oh, Ice Wall used early now by Hangzhou. Fits one of those shots! Oh my goodness!
Monstrous!
2 back-to-back headshots, just delete Fitz. Or delete Godspeed, I should say. Marvel! Look at that with a Graphitic Flux, takes out 2. A little bit of spam damage to find the 3rd. Seoul again going to be cleaning up Hangzhou as they try to engage that. Nice and quick, shut down by Fitz with pure mechanical ability. You love to see it.
Definitely. IDK had his soundbar available in that fight, but with Marvel using it and them already 1 down, IDK retains the sound barrier and they look to push in again. A lot of ults available here for Hangzhou. They're going to lead with this Deadeye, just designed to zone, give them a little bit of space to be able to work through the choke.
Oh, he's going to get 8 up by Marvel. He's going to get a lot of shields. The Blizzard comes down as well, but it's traded on either side. Everyone's frozen up right now. Don't really quite know what's going on. We were just staring at the wall, but it looks like Seoul are getting the better of it, as Hangzhou have decided to just reset. You can see them just running off the maps here. Godspeed should be running off the map. He's trying to get a little bit of a trade kill before he went down. I can respect it. But
well,
Seoul
another big
are
difference
still
in that fight.
In control.
Another big difference in that fight, Brent. Toby uses his sound barrier. IDK saves his again. This is the 2nd fight in a row where ultimates have been exchanged. IDK does not use that sound barrier. Either not in position or decided that there were better uses for it. But Hangzhou have got to get value out of it here. If they lose this fight, it's game over.
Gravitic Flux straight up. Rhea sends him back down again. Immortality Field onto Seoul, keeps them alive. No one's really going to be bursting through them. Look at that flashbang shatter. Oh my goodness, the coordination. It's unreal. Seoul Dynasty looking like an elite squad, well-trained, well-versed. And those sort of combo plays between Fitz and Gesture. Josh, you love to see it because Seoul Dynasty have just taken map number 1.
It feels like we've hardly begun, Brent. What on earth is this? That was so good for so many reasons as well, though. It wasn't the classic stuff that we expected coming out from the Seoul Dynasty, perhaps, with Gesture fielded on the Reinhardt, but he looked great at moments there. A fantastic counter shatter at one point, and then the pace that they're playing at the end of the fight. I mean, IDK never even got an opportunity to use his sound barrier at all in that 2nd round. They just played at a higher tempo, drove forwards, flashbang shatter, utilizing the aggression, the pace, speed, violence and momentum, and knock them all down on the ground. If Seoul Dynasty continue playing like this, I mean, we may have a number 1 squad on our hands. This is going to be so good.
They look good. They look really good, Josh. But will they take the crown as the best team in Asia? Well, we'll find out tomorrow. But we're going to find out more from this series, at least, after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles Wavy. Big crunch, big flavor. Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch League. This has been quite an entertaining series so far between the Seoul Dynasty and the Hangzhou Spark. We've witnessed map number 1 so far. And Josh, I had a flashback then, a memory of earlier this year when I was in Korea. I was sat down with Arnold, who works for Seoul Dynasty, and I remember looking at this roster on paper, what Seoul are running right now. You got Gesture, Prophet, Bedosin, and the rest of the Seoul gang all meshing together. I remember looking at this, and at the time, it may have been late at night, we may have consumed some very lovely Korean food, but I remember thinking to myself, this has the makings as potentially the best team this year. Now, people disagreed with me, but from what we've seen thus far from this team, on an individual basis, from the teamwork, from it flowing together, it's certainly making a case for it right now.
Yeah, I think they've done an incredible job at getting the best out of certain people. Fitz, for example, was somebody that we didn't see that much of last year, at least on a range of DPS roles, but he's really come into his own. His stock was very high in the offseason. A lot of other pro players talking about how good he was. And then he's just essentially exploded onto the scene in 2020 alongside Prophet. The Prophet's damage-dealing duo is incredibly good. It has the potential to be just hands down the best in the league. And then you pair Gesture alongside Marvel. I don't think many people really thought that that would be the tank duo. I mean, you think about it, Marvel has just come out this year and proven that he can play every main tank and now all of the off tanks that are required. He was playing D.Va in that map. He was playing D.Va on some of the previous maps that he's played with the Seoul Dynasty as well. That's unusually good. And the Seoul Dynasty have just taken it all in stride. They look better than people thought they were going to be. And people already thought they were going to be a pretty decent team. So they're arguably the best in the league right now. But this match against the Spark and their next match against Shanghai are required to really be able to test their mettle and prove that.
Yeah, I think as well, if we reflect just on map number 1 a little bit as well, looking at the Hangzhou Spark, I think a lot of people are going to be probably blaming IDK for quite a bit during that game just because of that last round. I would say to those people, hold your horses, you know, in terms of the sound barrier not getting used towards the end there. I imagine a lot of you are probably watching that thinking, you know, I know how to press Q in my plat games, but this isn't a plat game. And sometimes when the tempo is being played that fast, like Seoul were playing so aggressively into them, there's not really the correct opportunity to use that ultimate, especially if you get picked off early. You don't want to be taking a poor engagement into a team like Seoul and wasting that ultimate away when you could have other opportunities later into the season. But
definitely. And that's really one of the biggest differences between the elite level teams, like the teams that are gunning for a championship this year. I'm thinking about the Philly Fusions, the San Francisco Shocks, the Seoul Dynasty,
multiple of those
the
teams,
Shanghai
obviously.
Dragons. Yeah, these kind of teams that are really going for the #1 position this year, they all play at a very high tempo. They force mistakes out of their opponents because they make them make decisions faster than they can really react. And action is always faster than reaction. So the Seoul Dynasty, these kind of teams, they like to put their opponents on the back foot just by turning up the tempo. That's why Lucio is such a great hero to be able to work with. But from what we're seeing right now, it's not going to be on the field for at least the opening of this. Volskaya tends to be a bit more of like long-range battles rather than fast engagements.
Yes.
So we'll see how they adapt here.
A lot of poking, if you can, and that's what they're going to be doing. It's a wide map. It has these, as you said, Josh, long sight lines. So that's why you're seeing Zenyatta. Toby going to be switching, though, over to the Lucio. And Seoul just going to be poking, seeing what they're running. And Dora just going to be trying to farm up a bit of ult charge early on.
Yeah, this is an interesting composition from Hangzhou. They've got the dive tanks and a fairly solid backline that's a little bit susceptible to being dived or run over or something like that, but they can rotate around the map and help themselves fairly well. The issue is, they're really waiting for Adora to do something big.
Yeah.
And the Seoul Dynasty are going to keep rotating around the map and trying to run down Godsby or the backline. So the pressure's on Hangzhou here to get something done and not make any mistakes as Seoul Dynasty rotate around the map to perfect positions.
But one slip up and suddenly it all comes crumbling down. Gushue falls to Profit. That's opened it up now for Seoul. Seoul can walk forward. They have so much sustained staying power if they want to try and take this point now. And you can see them Profit slowly creeping around the corner. He's going to get slept up though by IDK. He's playing the Ana for once. An interesting pick for him. Hangzhou not out of it just yet, but we've got to be going down like that. Stunned up, shot down by Fitz. This might be over before it even started. And there you go, the tanks falling means that it's inevitable, much like Thanos. You're going to see Seoul just going to be creeping forwards now onto the second point.
Yeah, Adora's about to get his EMP up, so this could be a bit of a game changer here, but Seoul Dynasty still have a fairly good opportunity of just trying to roll this one all the way through. Toby nowhere near his soundbar. They're going to have to negate Adora or push before he gets it, but Seoul are definitely going to try.
Deadeye by Fitz. Trying to hunt for an opportunity, but
they got a
Rhea actually ends up going down, and they get a tick as well. Losing your D.Va here is not ideal, especially with the comp they're running, because Gushue frozen up, half HP, has to back off now. Marvel going onto the flank, just trying to see if he can hit those side shots going with a hypersphere. Someone needs to touch the point. No, Hangzhou, they have to contest this. EMP now is going to be connecting onto 6 of them, but it does not matter, or does it? It gives an opportunity, an opening now for Hangzhou to try and clutch this one up, but no one can touch the point. And Seoul are just rolling over the Hangzhou Spark with almost 5 minutes in the time bank.
Yeah, that's... You blink and you miss it. The Hangzhou Spark, I'm not going to say that I completely understand their defensive lineup there with the Soldier 76 and with the Sombra. It's not a composition that we've seen really ever before in competitive Overwatch, but with hero pools coming in, you know, you got to give these teams the benefit of the doubt. It probably worked in scrims and has some kind of counterplay against what other people are running. Yeah. But the Seoul Dynasty made it look like a useless composition there because they just pushed in. They got perfect Mei walls up from Profit. They froze Gushue and Rhea over and over again till it looked like the tanks were totally useless, and Adora's EMP had no follow-up. So that's a head-scratcher. I mean, Seoul are so far ahead of the Hangzhou Spark in terms of execution right now that the compositions might as well not even factor in. They're just rolling them over.
Yeah. It's been quite brutal if you're a Hangzhou fan. Seoul going to be rolling out with, again, a bit of the double shield action. Hangzhou going to be running what they believe to be, at least preemptively now, the counter composition is what a lot of teams think when you're running this, this Sombra Farah.
but it's very slow. The Sombra Farah comp, we saw it last week, and you're aiming for nano barrages or just the nano Farah in general. You're aiming for EMPs, or you're just trying to get picks on people, trying to shoot damage around the double shield setup. Oh, and Godsby actually moving over to the Widowmaker, perhaps? I would have expected him to stay on the Sombra, and yeah, he will eventually go back to the Sombra as well. So this is a slow comp from Hangzhou. They're just trying to get point A. They're not trying to get it at light speed. They just want to get it eventually.
I'm taking care of you.
Yeah, and it's going to be that slow siege is what you see often with these compositions. You see teams like Guangzhou, Chengdu running it last week. Dora's just going to be trying to send in those damage boosted rockets. See if he can get an early pick off. If he can connect one or two onto the supports in the backline, set things up maybe. Could be a great opening. Bebe's getting his money worth right now when it comes to that ultimate charge. You can see him already on 80%, and that nano is one of the keys to victory.
The problem is, as you can see Prophet looking for it. As soon as Bebe comes forward, the Seoul Dynasty, if they get an inkling of it, they can rush forwards and try and kill them.
Prophet steps forward. Nanobu's going to be used early onto Gushue here. Comes up. The immortality field is down. Prophet doesn't have his ice wall, but the team peel is there. Seoul defending him. The charge comes out as well by Gesture. Just pushes Gushue out the way, though.
That peel is so good.
Hangzhou not getting what they were looking for, but yes, Josh, as you said, it's all because of the Seoul Dynasty and their peel and fits. He's just hitting shots left, right, and center. Rhea caught between a rock and a hard place right now as he's trying to basically work his way into the rest of the team, but Seoul are just on top of it, able to clean up the tanks, able to just clean up everyone. It almost looks trivial when they're on these heroes, when they have this kind of coordination. And Hangzhou's struggling to just try and break into anything.
I want to give a shout out to Marvel as well, because this guy's been a truly transcendent talent on the Sigma. He showed it, glimpses of it, last year in the playoffs, when he really looked like the best Sigma to not make it deep in the playoffs, if you want to put it like that. And now in 2020, he's looked like hands down the best Sigma. Pairing up alongside Gesture, made Gesture look amazing as well. This guy, what a breakout year for him it could be.
We'll see now as Seoul Dynasty are going to just hold on. Remember, it's Hangzhou are the ones that have to try and cap this one in. They have to start playing aggressively. Nice rockets into the backline. The flashbang is going to be sending Adora packing, though. Makes him back off a little bit. Toby might be in trouble, though. He's caught in the corner. That was Gushue juggling him, setting him up for the kill. Dora's rocket was the one who finished him off, but Gushue with the ultimate is the one who made it happen. And Adora with the environmental kill as well, but Dosin goes down. This could be best case scenario for Hangzhou right now, using little to no ultimates to try and take this one. If they can still take this point now without using anything, Seoul might be in a bit of a troubling scenario. You can see Prophet using his ice wall just to try and split off Hangzhou, but they just work their way around it. Prophet using his ice block now to see if he can just survive this one out. Nice little hack though onto Toby. And Hangzhou, I gotta say, despite the fact that they had to use EMP to clean up that fight, they're gonna be moving into the next one now with the Nano Barrage.
Nano Barrage does make this next fight winnable, yes, but I think the Seoul Dynasty managing to drag that out long enough so that Godsby used his EMP is a huge win for Seoul, because now there's, apart from that Nano Barrage, there's very little chance of just a direct roll and easy caps. Volskaya, we've seen it be very attackers favored this year. It is the assault map with the highest completion rate. Normally, teams take multiple rounds here. And certainly with 5 minutes on the clock, there is no chance that Hangzhou set a similar time to the Seoul Dynasty, but this Nano Barrage is going to be everything, and you can see that Fitz knows it.
I mean, mate, it's so hard. I mean, when Fitz, he just is aware of it right now. Goes for the barrage anyway, but stunned! Flashbanged! He will get Fitz, but cancelled out of his ultimate. Fitz, you know, making the plays, even despite the fact that he went down into the grave 6 feet deep. But Hangzhou are not out of it just yet. Marvel still present on the point, trying to save this one. The Gravitic Flux comes up, connects onto the tanks, but he's falling quite low. Soundbarrier, though, from Toby will keep them in the fight. Hangzhou look to try and continue fighting this one as they're committing ultimates, but too little too late. The waste of the Soundbarrier from Bria as he thought he could try and turn this one, but the tempo of Seoul a little bit too much.
And what I don't like about the Hangzhou Spark's composition is that it has no point presence. And on Assault, you need point presence to force the defenders to come towards you. Otherwise, they can put one player on the point, delay for a little while, next player comes to the point, they delay for a little while. Hangzhou needs some utter point clearing kind of composition, or some point presence. Otherwise, they're just going to slowly lose. Dora now makes a switch over to the Soldier 76. This is a very similar composition to the one they used on defense, and it didn't get anything. I don't know whether this is much better. It's got a bit more point presence with the Soldier 76, but now now Gesture's in a position where he can dive. And look at this Winston matchup as well, Brent. Gesture versus Guangzhou.
This is what dreams are made of, Josh. Guangzhou versus Gesture, two of the best Winstons in the world. We might get to see them really clash as well. Guangzhou using his Primal Rage, falling very, very low, but he's going to try and get this pick off. But look at the peel from Seoul, booping him all over the place. That was a whip shot coming out there from Toby. Doesn't even need the boop on Lucio. He still gets it done, despite the fact that he's playing Brigitte. Seoul are just cleaning them up. Great synergy coming out from all members of Seoul to really work together to just try and stave off the aggression from Hangzhou there.
I feel like if Adora was able to play the Tracer, he would be using it. But Tracer as a hero is unavailable this week, and so he's forced onto the Soldier 76 instead. It's less mobile, less opportunity to get consistent damage in, more repositioning around the map. And I'm not sure how he's really going to be able to make this work. They need hacks onto Marvel or Gesture and to shred the tanks. That's the whole aim of the Hangzhou Spark.
I'm not a huge fan of the Soldier 76, but we'll see if they can make it work. Gesture's going to be the recipient of the Nano Boost. He gets booped back though, so he's not going to be getting as much value out of it as he might have hoped. And Marvel does go down, which is going to crack things open now for Hangzhou to try and make some plays. You can see Rhea working his way into the back line. Just really trying to approach onto them. Fitz going to get his Deadeye ate up. The defense matrix coming in clutch there from Rhea. Rhea having a great game thus far. We're seeing them just collecting these kills. Now the tactical visor, we'll see if it actually gets a kill. We've only ever seen 2 of them in Overwatch League history. Gesture going down. Hangzhou Spark definitely making it work right now. So much capture points as well. They have 86%. The self-destruct takes down Toby, and they do get the capture. But at what cost, Josh? Because look at the difference in time bank.
The difference in time bank is steep, for sure, but I think Hangzhou can be happy about that. It looked for a long time like they had no chance of being able to capture there, but Adora got a lot of work done. Adora was able to take out Profit. That's a huge pick, and they managed to demech Marvel as well fairly early on in that. And the additional point presence was really huge, because when you're playing the Pharah and you can't really stay on the point with the Pharah or the Sombra, there's no way of dragging the Seoul Dynasty to you and forcing a fight. But with the Soldier 76 there, and with the double dive tanks able to actually sit on the point, Seoul were forced to kind of play at the same tempo as the Hangzhou Spark, and they got those tank kills. They got the kill on Profit. It ended up working out the way that they wanted it to. The defense, though, was a totally different story. Thankfully, they'll get an opportunity to attack before they have to rethink their defense.
Well, the trouble is, I'm looking at Hangzhou Spark's initial composition, the one that they're teasing us with right now. Remember, of course, they can change it up at any time, but this takes a while to come online, and unless you get, you know, the opening pickoffs like Hangzhou did last time, they got a hack, they got the environmental kills, they were able to make it work, had to use the EMP in the end. It does take a lot of time to try and build up those,
it does, yeah,
you know, team fight winning ultimates. You know, they're looking for the Nano Barrage, they're looking for the EMPs, and a minute probably isn't going to cut it, but they're going to certainly try and make it work. God bless them.
And that means that a lot of pressure is on Adora, because he's basically the only person that can get in big rockets. He doesn't have a Mercy, though. They're running the Ana Lucio with this. Oh no, IDK now moving over to the Mercy. So Adora is going to have that damage boost. A little late in the fight. Took 20 seconds for him to be able to be in a position to do that. Wasting a little bit of time, but prioritizing positioning over all else.
Yeah, you can see the tanks now of Hangzhou trying to take away the high ground from Seoul. Force him onto the low ground, but Fitz, he hits the shots. Takes out Adora. The resurrect from IDK instantly, because they recognize they don't have a lot of time. Only 20 seconds now. They cannot waste a single moment of it. Got to be falling quite low. Fitz still playing passive. You can notice the positioning as well, as Toby's just protecting him, just hanging around the corner, ready to boop at a moment's notice. Fitz still going for these shots. Look at the damage he's pumping in. IDK falling so low, and he softened them up enough for Marvel to take him out. The kills flowing in for Seoul right now. Hangzhou Spark with an opening. Gesture going down to the Bionade. Let's see if they can capitalize off it. Fitz from up high. Deadeye going to be used, but no one can even touch the point because of it. And that's going to mean that Hangzhou, they don't get any capture point on that second point. And they've got an absolute monstrous task ahead of them. They've got to hold against the Seoul Dynasty when they have 5.5 minutes.
Oh yeah, this absolutely looks done. We haven't really seen holds like this. I mean, they've got more time to be able to take one tick than they had to capture the entirety of the 2 points to begin with. You only start with 4 minutes. Now they've got 5.5. I want to point out again, Marvel on the D.Va. a hero that he wasn't supposed to be playing. He was never signed to play that hero. No one ever thought that he would be playing that hero or could play that hero. And yet, he finds crucial picks on IDK and then shuts down Adora straight afterwards as well. This guy's playing at a top level on an off-tank as a main tank player. And not any brand new off-tank like Sigma that he's had the full time to be able to work with. He's trying to catch up to people that have been playing D.Va for their entire professional careers, for years. I mean, this is bafflingly incredible from the Seoul Dynasty's tank line.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, who would have known that Marvel was really capable of it? We knew he was a good main tank from last year. Like, we knew he was an excellent main tank.
Oh, yeah.
He was getting playtime over Fisher. But seeing this now, I mean...
He's just a god gamer.
It is astounding. Some people, Josh, are so talented. They're able to pick up just a role just like that. And Seoul making full usage of it. Fitz teasing us with the Winner-Maker gameplay. I would have liked to have seen it, but goes over to McCree. So don't blame him for that one whatsoever. A bit more consistent damage output. The flashbang as well.
Definitely.
To negate Dorado when he's going to be trying to farm up that EMP. You can see them just immediately playing high pace. Seoul taking a little bit of a left-hand approach. Going to be trying to take the high ground now as well. Super important.
Last time it was Gushue that died really early on, actually to profit. Oh, nice bio nade coming out from IDK. That's going to slow them down a little bit. The Seoul Dynasty are just aiming to move around the map, deny position away from Hangzhou, push them into worse positions, eventually collapse.
Fitz out of position. That is a great opportunity, and they spot it instantly. Wonderful stuff by Hangzhou. Fitz's flashbang gets used. They know that he's a diveable target. Gushue spotted it within a millisecond. Instinctual.
You know, with 5.5 minutes, you might think that the Seoul Dynasty would try one of these slower-paced compositions that have really big ultimates to be able to work with. And sure, most people will consider Blizzard to be one of those really big ultimates. Against the Hangzhou Spark, though, unless you get it on their backline, it's not going to find that much value, because everybody else can kind of dodge it. So Seoul's win condition here isn't really based on ultimates, it's more based on good rotations around the map and being able to push Bebe and IDK and Godspeed into bad positions eventually without losing.
Gushue, he's got the primal rage, he's in your house. It's not quite 3 AM, but it's close enough, and he's chunked them down. The damage is done, and that allows Hangzhou to just clean him up.
I'm not going to lie, Brent, this is a little worrying for the Seoul Dynasty, and I know that might sound silly to say when they had 5.5 minutes, but because they failed the first fight, they've given Nana Boost over. They win the next fight with Nana Boost, the Hangzhou Spark. They now have Primal for the next fight, and EMP for one of these later fights. Nana Boost is then going to be charged. So this ult cycle is going to start to get online for the Hangzhou Spark. They still have to make 0 mistakes, though. Yeah. So the Seoul Dynasty are likely to force out a mistake at some point. So, still pretty even. But Hangzhou are in a decent position.
As well, I'm looking at the team. The does have
maybe Marvel. Honestly, Marvel's a good nano target here because he can shred Gushue. Or even counter-shred Rhea.
See what they choose to use. They know that Hangzhou Spark have ultimates. We're going to see the Deadeye going to be used by Fitz. He's working for it. They just want to try and create space because they're forcing him to the point. The EMP gets cancelled! Oh my goodness! I'm not sure who did that. I think it was Fitz with the flashbang. But those kind of plays are the things that you need to make it work. Shield going to be keeping him alive. Gushue has to come up clutch now with the primal rage. He's moving in, but someone needs to stay onto the point now. They have to contest this. They cannot give up at single tick, and Hangzhou might be doing this. Godspeed collects 2 kills. Gesture falling low, but it has to be picture perfect now from Hangzhou Spark, and it might just be that if they can clean up the rest of these players. Nice sleep dart. They're going to be able to stagger up Marvel as well.
Brent, this stagger is absolutely crucial because Bebe died, and if Bebe can't get back in time, it presents a huge opportunity for Seoul Dynasty to aggressively engage. But because they got the stagger on Marvel, Bebe is going to get back in time, and there's no opportunity for Seoul Dynasty to come back in. What a crazy turnaround for the Hangzhou Spark. After getting it flashed out of their EMP, they still come out with the win. That's the power of Gushue.
Yeah, I got to give credit to Gushue for his primal rage then. I think he set up Seoul to be in position for the Hangzhou Spark to really pop off, in particular Godspeed, to allow him to get those pickoffs onto the stragglers of Seoul when they were split up by Gushue's primal rage. But they've got to defend again because Seoul are back in this fight. Marvel's found an opportunity. He moves straight into the backline. Bebe goes down. They've lost their Discord orb. They've lost a lot of their damage. And Godspeed using the tactical visor. Earth Shatter down. The Fire Strike as well. It's brutal. The South Destruct. How much do you want one man to die? Godspeed, you know, he just makes the decision for them. He's going to use his Helix rocket, ends up taking his own life because of it. Nano Boost now going to be used on the side of Seoul. And Fitz is just going to be cleaning up the rest of the players. And My word, it was a good effort by Hangzhou Spark. I got to give them credit for that, but Seoul Dynasty eventually, as I said before, they are inevitable, and they have taken map number 2 in this series.
Yeah, honestly, great work from the Hangzhou Spark. They showed how that composition works. When you win the first fight, the ults then snowball and you set up a cycle where you can really stay in control. Great play from Gushui on the Winston. Really nice positioning from Adora most of the time as well. Yeah. But you see how that one death onto Bebe, when he came back into the fight, wasn't able to be on the high ground in time, even though they got that stagger onto Marvel. And that the fact that he was on the low ground allows Michelle to get that pick and open up the entire fight. Marvel, of course. I'm saying Michelle exactly, because I'm just assuming that it would be Michelle playing the off tank.
Muscle memory in your brain. You just assume it'll be Michelle playing the D.Va.
It is.
Yeah.
My brain isn't a very good muscle, though. It hasn't had much training, which might be the problem there. But yeah, Marvel. And again, Marvel. What on earth is he doing on off-tank, but still putting up a ridiculously good performance? Yeah. This guy can play everything.
I think he might have been hitting the hyperbolic time chamber. I'm not too sure, but we're going to find out. Can Hangzhou Spark do almost the impossible at this point? Can they reverse sweep Seoul, or are Seoul going to seal the deal with a third and final map? We're going to find out after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, helping you stay connected to what matters most. Learn about T-Mobile's COVID-19 response on T-Mobile.com. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Overwatch League and welcome to the game break presented by, what is it, Josh? Remind me.
It's Cheez-It Grooves.
Cheez-It Grooves, of course. I didn't forget,
of course it
in
is.
case you're wondering. I just wanted to give Josh the limelight, you know,
because
I'm selfless like that.
You really are.
Josh, we have just witnessed, I don't want to say a stomping because Hangzhou Spark were showing signs of life and they really were showing signs of maybe battering back on that second map. But, Josh, how can Hangzhou battle back from this?
Well, in this crunch time presented by Cheez-It Grooves, Brennan, because it really is crunch time for the Hangzhou Spark, I want to run through some kind of little factoids for any Hangzhou Spark fans out there. And I mean factoids in the sense that they're small, not in the sense that they're incorrect. I would never lie to you guys. The Spark have actually never lost to the Seoul Dynasty. Okay? They are 3-0 all time against the Seoul Dynasty. Franchise wins. They've beaten them every single time they went up against them. So, okay, history is on their side. The last time they played, Last year, on Dorado, which is the next map, the Spark set the 5th fastest time ever. So Spark, looking pretty good on Dorado. It's against a different Seoul Dynasty team, but all right, the last time they played, they're setting records against them. And that's the map that's coming up. Then after that, we have a hybrid map. Okay. Hybrid is the only map type that the Dynasty have lost in 2020. Right? That still carries over right now because they're 2-0. Yep. And it's the Spark's best map type. So if you're a Hangzhou Spark fan here, you're banking on a win on Dorado with some kind of record-setting attack time, and you're banking on them being able to win on hybrid, which is the only map type that the Seoul Dynasty have actually lost on. So that's the only chance here for the Hangzhou Spark. They can come back.
You've put forward some numbers. You've put forward the statistics. I don't like to believe in statistics, Josh. I believe in the heart. And in my heart of hearts, I think the Hangzhou Spark might be able to do it just because their colors look cool. You provide the facts. I provide the grit, you know, that we need in this broadcast. But I'm going to stop raving now because it's the end of our crunch time presented by Cheesy Grooves. There's also the end of our game break. If you can't tell already, the coffee might be wearing off. Might need a little bit more of it. But I'm going to drink that in the break. But we're going to have more of this series coming up soon enough.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. Deep flavor, deep crunch. It's a mind crunch. The Overwatch League is brought to you by HyperX. Unleash your style, unleash your fury with HyperX Fury Memory. And by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, party people. Did you miss me? Probably not, but we've got a game ahead of us. It's actually been quite a good one, if you ask me. We've got the Seoul Dynasty versus the Hangzhou Spark. We are 2 maps in. We have potentially 1 more, potentially 3 more. Who knows, you know? Because, Josh, you made some riveting arguments for potentially a comeback for the Hangzhou Spark. The fact that, you know, the map types that were going on, the fact that the Hangzhou Spark are setting records on Dorado, the fact that, you know, hybrid, one of their better map types overall. Real opportunities for Hangzhou to try and rally now and come back. But can they do it against the Seoul Dynasty? That is the question on everybody's mind, because Seoul are just looking like a well-oiled war machine, just trudging forward, you know,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think the analogy is perfectly apt. The Seoul Dynasty had some question marks around them because we weren't sure how they'd perform without Orisa being in the pool, and Gestures looked great there. We weren't sure how they'd look with Michelle in the lineup, and they've decided not to run Michelle, so there's another question answered. And we wanted to see more consistency from them as the amount of matches increased. Here in their third match, they look as dominant as they did in the previous two against a team that we know is pretty good. I mean, I would say that the Hangzhou Spark are about the same level as the Gladiators, who the Seoul Dynasty also rolled. So if they continue this kind of stuff, then, oh boy, the game tomorrow against the Shanghai Dragons is just going to be
so
incredible. So incredible. But they have to win this one first. And this is where the Spark try and turn it around. Again, running the same composition. No Lucio. Going for a lot of poke with their backline, a lot of utility, and also having that Soldier 76. So they're looking to ult cycle here. And Guangzhou is going to be a big part of this first round.
Yeah. I did find it entertaining, just staring at the moving spray for a short while. I don't know, maybe I've got the brain of a monkey, I'm just easily entertained by that. But here we have it, Seoul Dynasty going to be making their approach, their attack into Hangzhou Spark. Hangzhou going to be running the long-range damage. Guangzhou dropping down just for a moment, seeing if he can build up some of that primal rage. Backs off to the safety of his team, but look at those shots from Fitz. Armor packed up on a Thursday, just waltzing in. It's not Thursday anymore, is it? It's actually...
It might be where he lives. Different time zones, isn't it?
Yeah, could be a couple of days.
Yeah, it's probably Thursday.
Out of sync, you know how time zones work, but Seoul have gotten good progress thus far. They've already made it so that they've pushed the card up through this choke point, but the real meat now with Dorado is trying to chunk your way through this first section. Here we have it. Profit on the Sombra, tries to go for an early hack, but gets spammed out by Hangzhou. The peel was there. Quite good from them. Seeing if they can find another hack or two. Profit's desperately searching for one on the tank line. Now he's going to be working and wiggling his way into the back here. Seeing if he can maybe get one onto the support line. Here we go.
I gotta say, I love this Brigitte as well, because he can put the armor pack onto Profit and he can just go crazy in the backlines. Gesture takes the nano boost as well and dominates the Hangzhou Spark's backline. They really don't have any peel against the Winston. If Gesture and Profit get in position and execute those dives that they were absolutely known for at their peak as the world's best Tracer Winston, Sombra Winston, whatever you want to call it, duo, then Hangzhou Spark's backline is going to be demolished, and that's why IDK makes the swap over to Brig. He can give armor packs to Adora, allow him to play more aggressively, build up that charge faster, just like Profit is, and also provides a bit more stability for the backline. But they're missing out on a lot of healing. As soon as this Transcendence is gone, I would expect Bebe to move over to the Ana as well.
I gotta say, the Soldier 76, or at least some of the weaknesses of it, I think are showing a little bit here, and you can see Seoul just playing so aggressively into them. EMP on top as Profit connects it onto so many players, enough that Gesture can clean up the remnants. As Fitz went in for a nice little counter flank as well, just running across the rooftops.
And honestly, Bren, I think they were hoping that Bebe's Transcendence would be able to save them from that EMP. I think that's the main reason that Bebe didn't make the swap over to the Ana, and he died. So now he's in a position where, all right, you have Trans, but
it's brutal.
Are you going to pop it in this fight when you don't have an EMP on the other side?
Yeah, I don't really like the Zenyatta in this sort of play, because Seoul not only have a better healing output, but there's so much pressure on Bebe to get something done on this final point.
Trans is popped.
Transcendence going to be used, and it's faded already. What value did they get out of it? Not much. Gesture has a primal rage. Guangzhou is also in the back line. Gesture just stunned up, just waiting, trying to create a bit of space and openings. Fitz goes in for it. Dodges the self-destruct as well. That's expertly done. Good. Very clean. Guangzhou into the back line, but look at that peel. Gesture, though, able to survive for the time being, uses his primal rage, but now he's hacked up. And as I was educated by earlier, when a primal raging Winston is hacked up, it's not his legs that get turned off, it's his jetpack on his back.
Of course.
I thought he used his legs to jump. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I forgot he had a jetpack.
Yep, so did I. And it does make sense when it's explained to you, because gorillas can't normally jump over houses. So yeah, that kind of does make sense, actually, that he has a jetpack.
Okay, this is Adora's time to shine, though, but Seoul take the aggressive approach. EMP gets used, counter EMP by Adora. He's going to be connecting onto a couple of members of Seoul here. Fitz falling very low, and he will go down. See if they can find the pick as well. Got to be just trying to lay in the shots into Profit. Finally brings him down. Hangzhou are able to at least stop the bleeding for the time being.
I think that Bebe's stuck now because he's got half a Transcendence. Prophet is going over to the Mei. They don't want the Zen in this comp. The Zen is not better than the Ana. But Bebe was stuck on it because the Trance is a good counter to the AMP. And now I feel like this backline just does not have any of the healing required to keep anyone from Hangzhou Spark alive.
Yeah, healing and honestly the win conditions that a Zenyatta's going to give you are not that great in the first place. Rally going to be used by Toby, giving them extra health, and he's going to get the D-Mech Fitz with that Deadeye. That's going to be a good opening now for Seoul to really just start to take space, and Guchui, I don't know what happened there. I think he was just kind of
melted.
Stuck. Yeah, frozen up by Prophet, I believe. Well, not quite, but still goes down regardless. And it is a brutal scenario. I'm just looking at this little fight that's taking place in the corridors and looking at the kill feed at the same time, and Seoul are picking them apart.
They certainly are. A lot of armor being given out here for Toby. IDK had already used his rally in the previous fight. Nice dive onto Fitz.
Okay.
But Doshin also falls, so the Hangzhou Spark with their Transcendence making good work of this fight. And they'll have the AMP for next time, so the ult cycling is going to continue to be pretty good here from Hangzhou.
Yeah. They win this fight, they're going to be looking pretty golden, actually. Curious to see if Bebe actually makes the swap now, or if he just sticks with the Zen. And if this might be a case of them just, I don't know,
Being comfortable on it.
Win condition, being comfortable on it, because, yeah, I mean, it's unusual for sure, but maybe they just want to play around this Discord orb with the dive tank heroes, you know, with Guchui on the Winston, with Rhea on the D.Va. That might make sense.
It applies a bit more pressure to Fitz, but you can see he's set at 250 health right now with that Brigitte armor, so he's not going to be too worried. They're going to be worried about the Adora EMP, though. EMP and Primal available.
EMP comes out, connects only onto Gesture, but Prophet and Fitz are tangled up right now in a bit of a web, but Fitz hitting these shots. I mean, it's just absolutely absurd being able to hit him in the air there, but he does it anyway, but Godsby answers back. Prophet, though, you can't forget about him on the point, and no one was able to touch it. Seoul just gracefully glided into the final checkpoint, and they're going to get a nice little time bank on Dorado, and completing Dorado, I cannot stress enough how big of a deal that is.
It really is. No record times like we were talking about in the crunch time, presented, of course, by Cheesy Grooves. But nevertheless, a fairly decent completion by the Seoul Dynasty. I wouldn't say that it was a roll, but I think they just outmuscled them in all of the important team fights. Sure, Hangzhou won the ones where they had EMP up and where they had Transcendence up, but those ultimates are not going to be online all the time, and generally the neutral fights went the way of Seoul. Nice swap towards the end there to move back towards the brawly compositions with Prophet on the Mei, because that fits point C of Dorado. It's the architecture and the geography of the map are more conducive to playing tightly together. Now this I'm interested in, Brett. Give me Gesture on the Winston and Fitz on the Widowmaker.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I want to see Gesture and Guchui on the Winston. I have been hyping up both of these guys on Winston for what feels like actually years. So
yeah, it has been years.
It has been years, right? I mean,
yeah.
There's a bit of nostalgia.
I think they're the two
attached.
best Winstons in the world. I think historically you would have to say that maybe like Fissure comes close and Mano, but really when you're thinking about the best Winstons in the world, it is Gesture and Guchui.
They are facing off. Godspeed on the Widowmaker as well. That was just early on, though. He's gonna make the switch. Indeed, he does. Over to the McCree. Okay, I like it. I prefer the McCree over the composition they were trying to play, where they run a soldier. I see Godspeed going back to spawn. Please don't switch. After I've just hyped you up, I'm gassing the man up. Okay. Well, I mean, hey,
I'll
I ain't
take the Widow Duel.
I ain't complaining. Take the Widow Duel all day, baby. I want to see this again. It's the style of Overwatch that I love. My bread and butter. My forte, let's see it. Nice little headshot, connects there onto Gesture. Has to back off, the dive by, the Hangzhou Spark is there. They're able to put in a ton of damage. And Fitz goes down to a door, actually, which is going to allow Godspeed to get even more aggressive with the sightlines. Guchui, though, stunned up with the Bionade as well. That's great by Bedosin and Toby. They lock him down and they take him out. And now Seoul can breathe a little bit more now that they have that opening pick.
Hangzhou are going to continue to run this Zenyatta here on the attack, and the Zen Brig is really good at being able to empower like a hardcore dive comp, but when you're playing slower with the Sombra and with the Widowmaker, I get the feeling that the Ana is just going to provide more value the longer this goes on.
Maybe, but you've got to play fast with the Adora on the Sombra. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Look at that, Guangzhou takes out Marvel. They force out the Nano Boost as well onto Gesture, but Gesture doesn't get anything done with it. But Adora going down in the end, and Fitz losing the Widowmaker 1v1. Never ideal. Hangzhou Spark probably going to have to be going back to the drawing board here after Seoul get those opening picks.
Yeah, Prophet's going to outpace Adora a little bit. Oh, nice shot from Fitz.
Yeah, these are nasty, honestly.
I will say, another question mark about what Seoul Dynasty are running. Why is Fitz on the Widowmaker instead of Gesture, when we saw that Gesture absolutely bodied you in a Widowmaker 1v1? I mean, surely that makes him the best Widowmaker in the league, doesn't it, Brent?
You are correct about that one. Gesture, a lot of people don't know this. He has a top 500 Widowmaker account. Very, very good at that one individual role. And honestly, the only reason he beat me in the 1v1, he is actually the Seoul Dynasty's best Widowmaker. If we were in an era
Fitz would
where...
have something to say about that.
Yeah, well, you know, yeah, he's doing all right. He's doing okay. He's doing okay in this game itself. We see the hacks being used, though. Prophet uses the EMP. It only connected onto one. It only connected onto IDK. And IDK had already got the rally off, so no value for Seoul using that EMP. Bit of a question mark for me. Guangzhou over the Primal Rage. The Sleep Dart misses. He's going to be seeing if he can get any value now, and this is what we want to see, this POV slamming them into the corner. He's going to get slept up again, though, but immediately woken up and leaps straight into the backline once more. Seoul fully EMP'd up, fully hacked across the board. And it is just cleanup duty right now for the Hangzhou Spark. They're able to easily find these pickoffs.
Yeah, that EMP from Prophet, I mean, you can see what the entire team was going for. They went for a really aggressive play, hoping to catch Bebe with his trousers down, but Bebe firmly fastened them up. I don't know where I'm going with this analogy. Bebe he's a Zen. He doesn't need trousers, all right?
He does wear trousers, though.
Monk. Does he?
Yeah.
It's more of like a skirt kind of thing. It's like a monk's robes.
I mean, in some skins, they're trousers, at least, from what I can remember.
Okay, well, anyway, he had his trousers firmly up. They were fastened by a belt, and he popped his trance.
Look, he's got trousers on. Look carefully. Look,
okay.
See?
All right, yeah.
Yep.
Somewhat trousers.
Okay, dive
there, though.
Yep, very nice dive attempt. IDK is obliterated from the Nano Boost. If you guys could also send us pictures of your favorite pair of trousers that Zenyatta wears with his skins, that'd be great. Bebe, though, the trousers won't be saving him from that one as Fitz takes him out. And a lot of even trades, though. Hangzhou Spark, with Rhea getting that kill, instantly demeched, which is never ideal. Still got to say Seoul are going to have the advantage coming into this one, especially when Fitz is hitting these shots. I mean, expert movement as well, just able to stay onto the top of the ledge there.
I think also, I hate to keep harping on about this point, but Badosin on the Ana, I think is allowing Jester to just play a bit more aggressively, because he knows that he's going to get healed up while he's flying through the air, more so than Guangzhou will. So they're able to execute these fast dives into the backline of Bebe and IDK, a bit more than we're seeing from the Hangzhou Spark. EMP now available for Prophet. Is he going to be able to land it, or will it be a whiff like the previous one?
Fitz has his flashbang, but it's not going to be good enough. He goes down almost instantly. Godspeed hitting some lovely shots onto him, and now Adora, all eyes on him to see if he can get some value out of this EMP. Did fall quite low, so he has to back off now, but big Bionade onto Godspeed once more. Bebe going to be using a Transcendence, but again, Transcendence can't heal you when you've got that anti-nade on you. And Seoul, they just dive onto Godspeed, recognizing that was the target they needed to bring down. Rally was used a bit preemptively there by IDK as well, but Seoul still firmly in control.
Seoul definitely in control, and you can see Gesture just getting healed up as they take down Rhea. Bebe popped his Transcendence, but back up to 50%, so not that bad here. Although will die again. These dives from Gesture, so well coordinated with the peel from Marvel, the aggression coming out from Fitz. It's beautiful to see Gesture back on this hero. He's just got such an intuitive feel for it, and the flow of the game. Both teams now with EMP though. No trance up for Bebe, so nothing really to mitigate it, though he might get it if they play a little slow. But they can't afford to play too slow because there's only 1 minute on the door.
The EMP, it connects onto the right target. Bebe, under 50 HP, has to back off, or when I say back off, I mean he just has to fall, doesn't he? He has to die in the end, and Godspeed just gives up on the ledge, wants to reset with the rest of his team, realized he was in a pretty naughty position. And Hangzhou Spark are in a bit of a troubling scenario. Now the tanks do back out, they don't get staggered, which is the good news if you're a Hangzhou Spark fan, but now they only have 30 seconds remaining to see if they can make a push attempt happen.
30 seconds and 5 ults. So as they work their way around the right-hand side, this aggression's going to come out from Seoul Dynasty, attempting to force out ultimates. I like this from Seoul.
Oh, but the hack comes out. Fitz is going to be EMP'd. Doesn't really need much else, though, other than the Peacekeeper and a nano boost. He puts in a lot of damage. Gesture goes down, but Fitz takes out Guangzhou in response to it, and he is on high. He is the high ground, so powerful from this positioning. Fitz able to just hit shot after shot after shot. And with only 3 seconds remaining, look at him. It's just a predator pouncing on his prey. The overtime will get triggered in the end, and that was by Adora just tickling the cart. And he's given Hangzhou a bit of a lifeline here. They have to make this work. It's do or die for the series right now. Deadeye from Fitz. It's going to get negated. The Primal Rage obliterated. Guangzhou falls into the final dregs of the team fight. Hangzhou Spark losing their main tank. Not ideal at all. And Seoul are ready and waiting. The shots are supreme. Hacks coming on point as well as Rhea was disabled for just a moment. Hangzhou are still trying to play this, but as the players begin to fall and topple one at a time, the nano boost applied over the Fitz for one last time potentially this series. Flashbang dodged, duped, moved out the way. Hangzhou desperately trying to make it work, but it's all for naught as the Seoul Dynasty will reign supreme, taking the series 3-0.
The Seoul Dynasty came into the Overwatch League in 2018 hoping to establish a dynasty, hoping to take the best players from Korea and make a championship team. They failed in 2018. They underperformed again in 2019. But in 2020, they absolutely look like a dominant force from Korea. The exact thing this team was built to be is right now, that's what's happening. Yeah. The Seoul Dynasty have proven themselves across 3 matches now against tough opponents in a multiple metas, and every player on that team looks supremely good.
Yeah, and honestly, the outcome of this match was, I think, a testament to how good Seoul really are. I personally had my doubts. It's been so long since we've seen them. Remember the last time before this match just now was, of course, week 8. I mean, I was against some of the Los Angeles teams. Of course, they're no slouches, but right now, this really does cement Seoul as one of the top teams currently playing in the Overwatch League. But enough talking. Let's go over to our favorite segment of all time, ever, Josh. It's our Player of the Match presented by Xfinity. And it's going to be the one and only Fitz.
Yeah, he had a really great game. And something that we didn't really talk about enough, I think, because Gesture and Marvel and the way that this tank line play and then Profit get a lot of the attention because they're really the backbone. But the flair on top, the cherry, the guy who's always there performing at a high level this year is Fitz. And like I said a little earlier on, the performances we saw from him in 2019 were not extensive, not flashy. He did his job when he needed to, but he only really played a couple of heroes because the meta diversity wasn't that large. In the offseason, we heard about how good this guy is, and in 2020, he's come out and just blazingly good on all of the heroes that he's had an opportunity to play. This guy is definitely for real.
Yep. Astounding plays all around from Seoul, really living up to as we said previously, the legacy that they wanted to set out with this team. When they call themselves the Dynasty, you expect that kind of play. And finally, we are seeing it. And it's a beauty to behold. But I believe that's going to be doing it for us personally, Josh. But the games are going to be continuing. We've got 2 more matches coming up now. You've seen some of the best right now in the Asian region. But we are going to be coming up, which I believe is, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, we're going to be seeing the Guangzhou Charge versus the Shanghai Dragons.
Yes,
and that's going to be it's going to be Mitch Leslie and Matt Morello, you know, Mr. X. They're going to be bringing you the action actually for the last 2 matches, so you're going to be treated to you know, some very good casting, I'm sure. But thank you very much for watching us. But do not go anywhere because there's going to be more Overwatch coming up after the break.